Hello, everybody.
We are two as one.
We are indeed, and we are here to talk about basically how do you get yourself ready for your soulmate. That really is what our whole podcast is about. Because when you are in a place where you want to call love into your life, no matter where you've been before, then you really do need to be what it is that you are seeking. So today's episode is specifically about you are not your past, or you're not defined by your past.
That's really interesting. How what's that phrase that
We have that quote. Yes. Here we go.
a beautiful
All right.
quote. You are not defined by your mistakes, rather by the resilience that is born from that. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. Yes. Because no matter what we've been through, you are here now, and no matter how awful it was that you went through. And while you may be marked still by the emotional scars, sometimes the physical scars of what you've been through, you are here. And those scars, those wounds can be healed. And I was just having a whole conversation, well, almost every day, but today specifically with a new client that came to see me, and she was talking about she's here, she's catching it early because she just got married last month after dating this person for 2 years. And now that they live together, all of a sudden she's seeing how reactive she is, which she wasn't through the whole dating period. And she's seeing her mother's behavior in herself now, which was also in the grandmother's behavior. And she was like, I saw all these things and I already knew how I wanted to handle things. And now all of a sudden I'm seeing this. And this is where I'm always talking about, yes, because these kinds of events are stored in a nervous system in the physical body, which is why I do EMDR with the majority of the people that I work with, to get the nervous system up to date and with everything that's going on here, because that's your younger self that's showing up in those moments. So we can learn from those things. Sometimes we need something more than just talking about it and writing it out and doing all those other things to speed up that process.
We need to heal.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, because if she had not taken action right now, I mean, she's on top of it, like barely a month in, not even 2 months into her marriage, and she's already on it, which is fantastic because she really wants to preserve and have a great relationship and a great marriage, and you have to take responsibility for your actions. So now sometimes it's more of a not feeling worthy of, so maybe you have a past where maybe you're promiscuous, maybe you had a problem with alcohol or drugs, maybe you did not treat people very well, maybe you've been a jerk in your relationships, right? Maybe you've been treated like horribly in past relationships, which all those things can leave you maybe feeling less worthy, and then you start to accept behaviors that are not positive, and you're not going to find your soulmate that way, and you're going to most likely repeat these patterns that you've lived. So you have to get some clarity on what it is that you want to be, who do you want to be, and what kind of a life do you want to build for yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes you can use those experiences from your past in order to, I like to think like a toolbox that you can go and use according with the situation that you are going through, and you can use some things that you learn from your past in order to face this new situation and find the resources that can help you. As you mentioned, could be an addiction, drugs, alcohol, promiscuous, and you can use your experience in order to coach, to mentor someone going through a situation like that,
Mm.
because you've been there before
Yeah.
and you know what the person is going through.
Yeah. Normally, the coaching and mentoring comes after you've gotten yourself in a better place.
Not definitely.
Yeah. And so how do you get yourself to that better place? Um, for first, like I said, is you really need to get clear on what it is that who is it that you want to be. So let's say you want to um, not be promiscuous. So that means you have to value yourself and bet more. You have to not put yourself in situations like probably not going to bars, not getting drunk, or you're drugged out of your mind, so you can stay in control of your decisions, putting yourself in situations again where that you're going other places and having fun. Maybe you're going to some classes, self-defense classes, or painting classes or something like that, where it's more wholesome, if you will, kind of rather than the bars and the clubs and situations which are kind of a setup for whether it's alcohol or drugs or being promiscuous in those kinds of situations. So what environments are you choosing to put yourself in is going to make it more conducive to showing up in ways for yourself, because this is really what's the most important thing for yourself, not for everybody else, in a way that you are setting yourself up for success, right?
Yeah, sometimes you need to change your environment. If you realize that there's something that you've been doing and then it keeps giving you the same results, it's something that you need to improve in order to get a better result or a different
Mhm. Yeah.
outcome.
Yeah, looking at patterns of behavior is usually a very good way of looking at, okay, I see myself getting into this situation over and over again, just like that new client that I just had. It was a very short pattern, but it was her new pattern paired with what she had grown up with and seen in her parents, paired with what had happened to previous generation. So not just your own patterns, but maybe it's familial patterns, and then you have to do something else. Back to number one, with regards to gaining clarity. The way you really get clarity, because many times we can sit and we can think, but when we're just thinking and we think that we have clarity that way, um, it's almost like it's a little more ephemeral. It's a little more easy to slip away. But when we go ahead and we write things down on paper, preferably in hand, you can type it also, but when we write by hand, we're making more connections, kinetic uh, connections in our brain to emotional centers in our brain. But also when we take pictures, and maybe you find pictures online or in magazines or something like that of what it is that we want. Maybe it's a certain kind of style that you want to dress that's going to make you feel really good about yourself, and you're going to show up in a certain way. Maybe it's the kind of living environment you want to be in, those kinds of things. When you have a visual of it, it's like setting the GPS in your brain. So that's for the gaining clarity. The second one was looking at your past as a toolbox. What are things that you do want from there? That things that behaviors, people, resources that can be helpful, as well as things that you don't want. Sometimes we have to start with elimination. And I know I don't want that kind of behavior. I know I don't want these kinds of things, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So then number three is surround yourself with people and, like I was saying before, environments that are conducive towards what it is you want. So let's say, for example, I've been hanging out. Actually, it's kind of an example with my son right now. He's kind of been hanging out after high school with a bunch of people who is kind of getting themselves in trouble. He's not gotten in trouble, thank God, but hanging around people like that, and where, oh, it's all about the trucks and the vehicles and da da da, all that kind of stuff. And now he is playing semi-professional baseball, so he's in an environment among people that are motivated. They want to do something with their life. They have goals. So that means you have to show up in a certain way. You have to take care of yourself in a certain way, and and it's a complete turnaround for him, which is really really nice.
That's something really interesting that I want to mention about that situation, because um, I remember a few days ago or weeks ago when he was about to move to West Palm Beach, and he realized, keep surrounding himself with that people is not gonna take you anywhere. At least no to the place that you want to be. And I remember when he mentioned this, and he says, it's gonna be good for me to surround myself from different people, because the people that I'm hanging out now, and seems like it's not the best.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They're
And
getting arrested. And, oh God.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's important that you um, realize the change it's in you. You are the one who's gonna make things happen.
Exactly. Exactly. And one of the things that can be really hard for a lot of people is that in between stage when you're going from this group of people and you're moving towards something else, and you don't have your group yet. You don't have your people over here yet. And it can be lonely, that stage right there, because you are drawing away from the old gang and maybe they're wanting to hang out with you, and you're trying to not go there. And so that part can be really difficult. It could be friends, it could be family. And you were talking about a situation with your family.
Oh, well, that was a long time ago. I used to drink uh, well, every weekend, mostly. And then I came back home to visit my mom, and all my family was there. And that time I was not drinking anymore. So when everybody was drinking, I said, you know what, I'm okay. I'm not drinking anymore. So everybody was in shock. Do you think you are better than us now? No, no, I just not doing that anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, these that change can affect you and can affect your environment as well. But you need to figure out how to deal with that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's when your family, your friends, they are showing up in that way. It's like, well, do you think you're better than us? Yeah, that's going to be probably one that you're going to get a lot. And then they're going to tug at your heartstrings, right? It's like, oh, no, no, yeah, I don't want to feel better than you. I just want something different for myself. So that part of really steeling yourself against those kinds of comments and little tugs, right? It's going to be important. The part about surrounding yourself with people and environments that are where you want to be going towards, for several reasons. One, of course, you're setting yourself up now for success, because those people are probably going to be more emotionally supportive of you. You're also going to learn from them, and being around people who are more upbeat and motivated and have a drive, that's spreads, and so you catch that vibe, and then that makes you more motivated and energized. So it's a whole different environment. So that is a beautiful thing, and they might be mentors for you. You might, even whether they are taking you on as a mentee, or you just by watching them and being around with them, you start picking up on behaviors and ways, and maybe you get introduced to people that could get you into other places. So it's a beautiful thing. And when you gave up drinking, uh, you live far away. You know, your family's back in Ecuador, and you were over here, right?
Mm,
Or was that
no, no, no,
before
no. That
you
was before.
moved?
That was before I moved here.
Ah.
But I used to live out the town because of work.
Mm.
So I left my house, my mom's house, when I was 19 years old, and since that time, that probably was 5 or 6 years after that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
it's an interesting change.
All right. Yeah. So another thing that I wanted, when we go to where other people, like friends or family that know your old self, they may be, uh, trying to make you feel bad, maybe using the guilt trip on you. What I usually do is I tell people to give other people a credibility score. You know how we get credibility scores for our finances, a credit score. We get a credit score for our finances, and I have developed a human credibility score. And so look at how is this person showing up? Are they somebody who keeps their word? Are they somebody who's emotionally supportive? Do they give not necessarily always positive feedback, but feedback that is useful and coming from a place of wanting to help or love? Or are they putting you down? They just trying to get you down a few notches because maybe that makes them feel better? Are they someone who says a lot of crap but they never show up? Those kinds of things. So those would be two different credibility scores that you would give them. This person might get on a 0 to 100 scale. You might give them a 95 news credibility score, where this person down here gets a 33 credibility score. And so when the 33 credibility score person is telling you something and you feel those tugs in your heart, remind yourself, wait a minute, this is a low credibility score person, so I am going to not give so much credence to what this person is saying to me. And when that person over here with a 95 credibility score says something, now that's something I'm going to take to heart, and I'm going to uh, give it a lot more credence.
You know, my mom used to say that you should to take things depending who's the person who's telling you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. She was on board with my
Yeah.
credibility score.
Yeah, it's a totally different way, but yeah,
Yeah.
same outcome for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and we already spoke about the look for patterns in your behavior, and going with the old sayings. Remember what Einstein used to say: how keep if you expect to get a different result using the same behavior, that's a description of insanity.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and there was, another Einstein quote is that you can't resolve a problem from the place that the problem was created. And when you really think about that, that means what we're talking about here. You have to become a different person in order to solve these problems over here, right? So what we really are all about on this podcast here, in these videos, we're really here to give as many tools and techniques that you can put to practice, as simple as possible, because simple is really where the key is. And that way you can apply them, see how it works in your life. You have to do them more than once. Don't go out and try this one thing one time and say it didn't work, because you spent decades doing things a different way. So it's going to take a hot minute to, not necessarily a long time. I'm not talking about years, but many times you're going to have to start doing something different. It's a lifestyle. And so a lifestyle is something where you start doing little things different. Maybe you never ate breakfast and now you're starting to eat breakfast. So you're going to do that so that you have the energy and the nutrients. Maybe you used to eat Pop-Tarts, which is not a food, for and call that breakfast. That's not a food. Don't tell me you had breakfast if you had a Pop-Tart. No, you might have eggs and salmon like we had for breakfast today, which was fabulous. And now that is food that nourishes our bodies so that our brain has something to work with and our brain can function and our emotions are fed. We have our own pharmaceutical company going on that's natural and beautiful and perfect for us.
Yeah, you need to take responsibility on your actions, and your health is your responsibility.
A
And
hundred
that's a
percent.
good beginning.
It is. It is. Now I am going to have my free 6 week mindset challenge available in just a few weeks. So in the meantime, you can always check out my website, which is in the description underneath. We have my book,
I should mean
Peace,
peace,
Purpose,
purpose,
and
and
Prosperity.
prosperity.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that is available. It's a workbook. So at the end of every chapter, you have something that you can work on, which is a lot of the stuff that I do work with my clients. Um, and we have a few other things that's all about health in our links below. We will talk a little bit more about that another day. But like, subscribe, comment, let us know what are some of your experiences and results. How have you taken your past and created a new you? Um, and share if there's anybody this resonates and you know of anybody who is maybe going through some of this stuff who could use a little boost and a little support, then please share this with them and hopefully it will help them.
Yes, remember, you are the master. You are in charge.
You are indeed. So go out and shine your beautiful inner light, and we shall see you next week.
Take care.